Wow, 5 o'clock already.
We'll play
Daylight savings time. So I think we are ready to go. Welcome to the Board of Directors meeting, March 18th, 2024, here at Station 5, North Scott Station. At Clackamas Fire District, we're always here for you. We value our people and the people we serve. Our focus is establishing teams. So Chief Dieter, what does the first T stand for? And teams, what does the first T stand for?
trust, empowerment, accountability,
service,
Mindset.
Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Good, thank you.
Rap guy, not an English guy.
That was our pop quiz for the
I spelled T's.
Yep.
If you are attending in person, please sign in on the sheet next to the door. The regular monthly meeting of Clackamas Fire District's Board of Directors will now come to order at 5 p.m. per ORS 192.610 to 192.690 per ORS 192.650. This meeting is being recorded. The video recording of the meeting will be placed on the Fire District's website. Chief, any changes to the agenda?
No, we do have one small change. That's R1E emergency services. There will not be a Chief Mueller was unable to be here tonight. I have a couple items just in my fire chief's report out that I'll talk with them, but we won't do an R1E.
Okay.
Emergency services. I can't speak tonight. It's gonna be one of those nights. Yeah. The emergency services divisional report out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting that was on February 26th, 2024. Does any board member have any comments or changes of those minutes?
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge. Oh, you're right. So I'll
After that, after the approval, yeah.
After this,
yeah,
after
that
we
works
approve the minutes, if there are no changes, the minutes for the regular board meeting on February 26th, 2024 stand approved as written. And now, I'd like everyone to please stand.
Obviously, it's gonna be a group effort to get through the
agenda. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public comment. We'll now call for statements from citizens regarding district business. Shelby, anyone sign up online?
There wasn't.
Okay, anyone in the audience wish to say anything? Okay. Very good. And now, first item up, the introduction of the Human Resource Program Specialist, Sarah Davis.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be able to have Sarah come before you today and introduce herself. We're so excited to have her join the Clackamas Fire family and be part of this team. Sarah comes from a depth of experience in the human resources world. And as we have one of our priorities and our focuses moving forward as our people, Sarah's just that right person to help us with that. So Sarah, if you just stand up and give a little bit of an introduction, I would be grateful.
Yeah. Hi everybody, I'm Sarah. I'm so happy to be here at Clackamas Fire. I've been in human resources for almost 10 years now. Kind of fell into it by accident, but I absolutely love it. And I'm really excited to work with all of the people here and help make this just continue to be the most amazing place to work that I've already found it to be. So, yeah.
Love that, Sarah.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
And if it's good, we're going to excuse Sarah so she can go get her kids.
Yep.
Thank
Very
you.
good plan.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, item B1, request board approval of 3-year term renewals to the Clackamas Emergency Services Foundation Board. Are you bringing that up, Chief, or do we have someone from the foundation?
We do not, but give me 1 second here, and I will. For the Clackamas Emergency Services Foundation bylaws, the members shall appoint trustees to serve 3-year terms. The foundation is requesting approval to renew the 3-year terms for the following foundation trustees: Andrew Gordian, Jerry Kearney, and Craig von Valkenburg. And we would suggest approving those.
Okay, and we did get that memo in the board packet, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Any questions or comments regarding these term renewals that the director has? Okay, do I hear a motion for board approval of 3-year trustee renewals for Andrew Gordian, Jerry Carney, and Craig Van Valkenburg to the Clackamas Emergency Services Foundation Board?
So second.
Been moved and seconded. Shelby, please call the roll.
Jay,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Marilyn. Yeah. Jim.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, other business, we have board committee liaison reports. The first, we have listed executive committee, myself and Vice President Haas. We did have an executive committee meeting with the chief on March 5th. Just talked some general business, including the chief's evaluation and contract, which we'll be talking about later tonight in executive session. Forwarded all that information to the director, so you all should have that. Other than that, anything else, Steve?
We're doing that pretty well. That was most of the meeting was that, so
Yeah.
pretty well going to be covered in executive session.
Mm-hmm. Any questions for us? Next up, Volunteer Association Liaison, myself. The Volunteer Association, we have the president here, met March 4th. The chief and I were at the meeting. It was held at the mooring station. Good attendance. We did updates, answered questions like we do, and the new president was installed that evening. So congratulations and thank you for your service. The outgoing president, Jerry Carney, was there, and we thank Jerry for his dedication and service. And that was really it. You'll give your update, yes, for the general association items later tonight. So, and any other committees that aren't listed here? If anyone has any updated information, Jay, anything on the OFDDA?
Well, the only thing is we met, the conference committee met, so the conference committee's in full swing and we're doing, I mean, the amount of work we're putting out, we're gonna have a conference all planned probably in about another 2 months. So it's phenomenal how well it's fallen together. Jeff Griffin has been wonderful of bringing stuff forward for us for the conference. So I think, I mean, we had a great conference this last year, but I think this conference going into Sun River is going to even be better. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, the group is doing some really strong work this year. So
Have they set the dates?
yeah, I got them all. I can forward all that stuff to you.
Yeah, it'll be in Sun River, not in Bend.
No, it's in Sun River this year.
Okay.
See if mom can avoid a pacemaker surgery this year.
So any other committee or liaison reports to share? Hearing none, board informational updates. Does any board member have any informational update or general comments or anything that you'd like to say regarding anything? Okay. Now we're on to the division department reports, Office of Fire Chief.
Awesome.
Chief Brown.
Thank you, members of the board, Mr. President. Just a couple things I'd like to highlight. I would love to steal some of these things that Steve's going to speak to. It's kind of a fun thing for me to do. So I'm going to steal at least one. Oh, yeah, let's see what you got.
You have a
Okay, you're
list.
not there yet.
Things to
Okay,
steal
good.
from
So
leaders list.
the first thing that I'd like to call attention to is we swore in 17 newly promoted and newly hired employees February 12th. that's one of the highlights of being a fire chief, is to be able to do that and have the families there to be able to celebrate their employees, as well as doing the award ceremony, which we just had. But really seeing being able to recognize the hard work, the preparation that goes into a promotion, and then also those employees that are new to the fire district and swearing them in. You know, as always, and this is where I'm getting to steal some of Steve's stuff, the fire district's been active, staffing a bunch of career fair events throughout the community. And it's awesome because this is an opportunity for us to be able just to share what Clackamas Fire Family is about, the things that we do, and also helps in that strategy we have as far as recruiting for the future. And the diverse level of avenues which they can come in. So many people think the fire service, they think being on a fire engine, a ladder truck, a rescue, but really showing them the diverse level of fields that they can get into in the organization is a highlight for us. Notable events. Would like to speak to a couple of, it was a month full of animal rescues. So February 9th, we had a horse stuck in a ditch, which the homeowner was just elated with our people. It was a technical rescue to get the horse out, and it saved the horse's life. So just really, really proud of the team for that. And the next one was Engine 301. So same crew that performed the rescue in January at the apartment fire responded to a car fire, and there was a dog trapped inside the car. And so they were able to rescue the dog. So it just shows that whether it's a pet or a human being, we're here for you. So last, as I would just like to call attention to the monthly review data that we send out. Engine 3 for the month of February had an average response time of 1 minute and 4 seconds. That's to get out the door. Truck 16 was number 2 with 1 minute and 5 seconds. And so just really, really impressed with the tempo and getting out the door as quickly as they are. So
What's our slowest time?
the slowest time, give me 1 second.
With the other end of the bar.
The slowest,
I bet it's not far out either.
no, it's 1 minute and 38 seconds is the slowest time. Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Turnout
So
times?
so I remember when I started here, we were a couple more minutes. We just added a couple more minutes to that. So it just shows the tempo at which our people are moving to get out the door, because they understand that time matters. So I'm really proud of the crew. And that's all I have. Be happy to answer any questions.
Steve, anything? Did Steve have?
No, he doesn't
anything
have anything to say.
exciting?
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah.
The last couple of consulting projects I worked on, turnout times for the departments were 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
Good job.
Super proud of them. Thank you.
R1B, Office of Strategic Services, Assistant Chief Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board. A couple things tonight. Unfortunately, Rick is off sick this evening. He wanted to provide an update on some of the concrete work, but he'll do that at a future meeting for you. But in the same vein with facilities, excited that next month we'll be able to introduce a new project and facilities manager to you. So we had a recruitment for that, 27 really qualified applicants. Narrowed down to 1 who's finishing up their background process, but we expect them to start on April 1st. A couple other pieces from a legislative update. The session adjourned on March 7th. As you may recall, there were 3 main wildfire funding bills, none of which made it through. But through the efforts of many of the partner agencies, we were able to get a couple of budget notes into the bill. So we were looking at 2 pieces that we were specifically looking for from the fire service OFCA side, which included a 2-year moratorium on ODF land reclassification. So that affects what land is in and outside of ODF purview, and what would be assessed on those parcels. There are a couple that we recognize should continue to go through because they're already in the process, but no new land reclassifications in the next 2 years. And providing structural fire agencies a seat at the table for a wildfire funding task force. So obligating ODF, WPAC, OSFM to sit at the table and look for a more comprehensive and stakeholder-driven funding solution. So that was all positive. Let's see, also, there's an EMS modernization bill that passed, which again, Rick would speak to much more cogently than I can. But he had a lot of input into that bill in the early drafts. What's that? Cogently. And he had a lot of input into the drafts early on. So some of the language that he recommended is in that bill, which is fantastic. Senate Bill 1537, which was the governor's bill this year to focus on housing stock, passed, and it included the language that protects our revenue as they do some of the development under that bill. So kind of like an urban renewal district, they have a different mechanism, which is a loan repayment mechanism. But as part of that, the taxing the fire districts are made whole. So we won't lose any revenue under this projects under this bill.
Who makes this all?
What's that?
Who is gonna do that? Who's gonna
Take advantage of it?
Or what?
So it is, it's a mechanism that I would need to take just a moment and read through. So the state is providing funding for developers to provide relief to developers to increase housing stock. As the state provides that funding to the developers, the cities and counties where those properties are located are obligated to repay those funds to the state. And so the state will be assessing the taxes levied to each of the districts in order to do that. For us, they pay that money back to the fire district. So we're the only exemption to that, but the county assessors will pull it out, pay the money back to the state, but the state's making the loan to the developers, I understand it. But again, it didn't keep us out of urban renewal district, but it's a nod towards the importance of funding fire as populations and communities grow and call services go. The last piece, and this is one piece that Andrew Gordy would share if he was here as well, was House Bill 4045 passed. That had the PERS changes that did a few pieces in there, but as it relates to the fire district here, that reduces the age for OPSERP firefighters to be able to retire with a full pension or full multiplier from the age 60 to age 55, and that age change would take effect January of next year. Lastly, just to touch on a project that you've heard Jeff talk about, and I probably talked about briefly before, which is firefighter behavioral health. So over the last year or so, I sat on the committee or chaired the committee on firefighter behavioral health underneath the Governor's Fire Service Policy Council. It was the very last week of January. We presented our findings and results to the Governor's Fire Service Policy Council, who supported, I can't remember the exact word, supported what we're proposing in our findings, which provides the opportunity for the state fire marshals to engage differently in terms of their charge, their obligations for funding, staffing, those pieces. So the state fire marshal is excited that she's able to put more resources and be able to look towards legislative recommendations under firefighter behavioral health, which is fantastic. So while that subcommittee is wrapping up on the 20th this month, it really kicks off a new body within the Oregon Fire Service called the Oregon Fire Service Health and Safety Collaborative. So that'll be housed under OSFM. They're going to be providing a full FTE to that process and other things within them. But it is intended to be driven by the fire service as a whole. It's member agencies, it's firefighters. So Those are a few updates. Happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. On the housing bill.
Yes.
The existing laws permits the cities to take our money unless we opt out, and we must affirmatively opt out. Do you know whether this bill is going to require us to take affirmative action to say, no, we don't want you to have our money, and if we don't do that, then the money goes, that we can't have our tax money back, or what?
No, this bill is structured where the money will leave the county and then will be redeposited. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Next, Office of Business Services Assistant Chief Peters.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I've retitled my memo of things Nick will probably cover, but
He's not wrong.
He really did.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
So I'll start out with human resources. They continue to work through the entry-level process. We're in the 10-day review right now, where all of the candidates, we get a 10-day period where they can come in and review their scores and what was said about them in their interviews, and gives us an opportunity to correct anything if an error is found. And so we're working through that. We had 160 total finish, and then we'll be going on to interview status, depending on what the appointing power calls for the number of employees. But we have 170 EMT basics, 40 paramedics, and 13 apprentices that made it through to the final list. So working through that, and Ed's been instrumental, working some extra days so that we can get those people through. We had a tremendous amount of people respond if they wanted to come and see their results. So Nick already covered community services. So public information and social media, they're working on the next issue right now of the siren to go out, and then also working with social media to highlight some of the things that we've done with the levy so far and what we're prepping to do. So you'll see a lot more of that on social media. Health and wellness and safety, they've been going around doing their cancer talks, visiting the stations, and I think they're up to 39 visits, 39 crews that they've been able to visit, and they're also covering our benefits as well. It's an area that seems to get missed by a lot of employees, what our actual benefits are and how they can use them to their advantage. So they're working on that. All departments are working on their budgets, and we just wrapped up today. I wrapped up with the last of them on their budgets and helping them to work through that process. And then Fire Marshal's office is still identifying target hazards and getting them into our Ontario system so they're available for the crews. They have projected mid-summer finish date for that. Happy to answer any questions.
Station 12 and 13. How are those doing for getting ready to go? And
that lands
Brian,
on facilities.
Station 12 and Station 13, where we at process-wise. 13 is going to be the reality of but yeah.
Yeah, so Station 13, we're in the process of doing some remodels for that. There is some limited interior work to be done. It was actually in pretty good shape. I believe blockers have been received. They've got some work in the bay that they're doing with the water heater. They're going to replace it. I don't know what size it is now, but they're going to replace it with an 80-gallon water heater to improve that. Some of the pieces we looked at that we're not moving forward with, or at least one, is we looked at the stove and replacing that with the gas stove. That would have required a new line, those types of things. So we're going to remain with the electric stove that's there for now, with consideration of replacement for that in the future, which may or may not be gas or may or may not be induction cooktop. So a couple pieces there. But that's moving along, it's on track. The other piece from an IT side of things is that'll be our first station that will have Starlink put there. So we've used Cradle Point for a number of years because before that Silver Star was way too expensive, but the Cradle Point has not been as reliable as we would have liked. So that'll have Starlink installed, I believe, on April 1st is when that's scheduled to go in. And then in terms of Station 12, we are scheduling some times with, we've done some walkthrough with one architect. We're going to do some walkthroughs with a couple others. That's being scheduled for the first and second week of April as we have the new project and facilities manager on board at that point.
So are we gonna get any virtual tours like we did when the 16s and 19s was getting built?
Sure. We can do that. We got a guy.
I mean, if it's not ready, it's not ready, but, you know, I know they were playing with the new drone back in the day too, so that was an opportunity to show it off.
Sure. Can I just, I want to point one thing out that Steve touched on with the human resources side and recruitment aspect. Steve and his team developed a strategy for recruitment that was heavily emphasized on social media, some videos, and really looking at what we require to come in the door as far as testing and whatnot. They made one small strategy, and they had a 31% increase in the amount of applicants coming in the door this go around. And so I just think that just shows to their mindset and the cutting edge of what they're not happy with status quo. They're looking at ways to improve always men, and that is a small adjustment to reflect such a huge change is pretty impressive. So I just quick shout out to Steve and his human resources team.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you. Moving on, Office of Financial Services, CFO Marcus.
Okay, good evening, directors. Just a quick update tonight. As usual, there is a finance report in your board packet, starting on page 11. The only difference this month is I also included on page 15 a tentative budget calendar. So we are about to enter budget season, and I had sent out an email to each of you trying to figure out a good day for our budget committee meeting. So right here I have it on the calendar in the packet. I have it tentatively scheduled for the 16th. The other option that looks like it could work for folks is the 22nd of May. So we'll get out the final invite here in the next few days, so you guys can lock that into your calendars. The other, I guess, budget news is all of the members of the budget committee are interested in returning and continuing as members of the budget committee. So I think we'll roll forward with the same 5 members we had in the previous year. 2 of those folks terms are expiring, so I'll probably bring an agenda item next month to have you reappoint them. But they've been on the committee for some years and have expressed interest to continue. Other budget updates, you know, as we start to plan for the fiscal year 24-25 budget, always looking at, you know, what are the risks and issues that we might be facing. So just some news we've gotten in the past few weeks. Our paid leave Oregon premium is likely to at least double from what it was this year, based on our experience, which was not unexpected. We got a really good deal this year, and our claims experience has showed that we probably should be contributing more on that front. We have a meeting in a week or so with about our workers' comp premium. They've never asked to meet in person before, so that can't be good news. So we had a big increase in those costs last year, and I expect, given our experience rating in some of the presumptive cases and the general trend in that category, we'll see cost increases there as well. And then, of course, we're also tracking the passage of HB 4045, the PERS measure, and what that might mean for PERS rates. But PERS rates are not set to reset for another year. So if there is a cost increase associated with that, we wouldn't see that until 25-26. I think those are most of my updates. I have been participating in collective bargaining, which I think you'll hear a short summary on in executive session. So I think that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
Okay, so your investment report indicates that against all expectations, the LGIP is making more money than our other investments.
Yep.
Are you still confident in that point? That we paid the 37 million, and we already have.
We already have. So I mean,
but this money's all going to be coming due, most of it in the short term.
Yeah. So in the short term, my current plan, I mean, we'll, every time funds come back from the treasuries, I look at the current treasury rates to determine if it makes sense to invest. I think at this point, we would probably in the short term just have everything fall back to the LGIP, because we wouldn't likely be able to invest things for terms that would be long enough to reach a point where where the rates in the LGIP would fall before it made sense to leave them in the investments. I didn't explain that very well, but no, going forward, I think we'll just leave funds short term in the LGIP.
Do we have fees that them management money?
The LGIP? No. Well, that's not true. There's a small transaction fee every time we transfer money in or out. It's 5 cents. So it's usually about 20 cents a month.
Can't buy a stamp for 20.
Well, Mark, what insurances did you state in the beginning that are going up?
Our Paid Leave Oregon premiums, Paid Leave Oregon are going up. So our plan will renew in September. And it's so yeah, it's based on our payroll. It's a small, right now it's about 0.42% of our payroll, and it'll go to about 0.86 most likely.
Okay. And then congratulations again to you and your team on our board of directors award.
Thank you very much.
Award presentation the other night.
Good job. The team was very appreciative, so thank you.
Office of Emergency Services.
Not doing that one.
We're skipping. Did you have something to say, Chief?
Yeah, I added that into the horse rescue and the animal rescue. One thing, President Searing, is I forgot to mention is R1F. Brian relayed the information that Andrew Gordian wanted, which was the passing of Senate Bill 4045 or 405.
4045.
Thank you, House Bill 4045. He will be unable to attend tonight.
Okay.
I forgot that one as well.
So we'll forego that. Next up, Volunteer Association report. Volunteer President Joe Johansson.
Good evening, President Searing and ladies and gentlemen of the board. I want to start off with saying thank you, President Searing and Chief Brown, for coming to our last board meeting, Volunteer Association board meeting. It was nice to have you guys there and get an update in person. As you said, we did go through and we voted in a new president, which was I. Thank you very much. Going through some of our supported efforts, we've helped support the Clackamas Fire Stair Climb up in Seattle. And we had one volunteer actually make the climb in about 25 minutes.
Wow.
So he did really good. So we made sure to support that organization. And then also we supported Angels in the Outfield, which is a neglected children organization. And then as far as the highlights from Crogro, he said we had Station 12 staffed about 21 of 29 nights. And Station 7-4 was 23 of 29 nights.
Nice.
in January, or excuse me, February. We're going through with volunteers. We had water tender operators do their monthly checks at Station 18. We went through with ropes and knots and hoisting, and went through a review of the new life pack monitors, and also ladders with Truck 316. So it's always nice to have companies come in, give us a hand in person, show us all those nice tips and tricks. So that's very appreciated. Explorers say they've been working through SCBA skills, ladders, forcible entry, and turnout for time and masking up with ropes and knots and hoisting as well. Let's see. There. We also had a wooden flag made for Station 7-4. If you didn't see that, it was it's an amazing flag, and Crog was a little jealous. He's like, wow, that's a really nice flag. So, so we went through with the Pioneer.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, I believe so. Pioneer Pacific flags. So when they brought it out to drill the other night, that's awesome. Everybody displayed there with it. And it has lights, LED lights on the background, so it lights up the wall behind it.
That's so cool.
Next time you're out, we should have it mounted at Station 7-4 here soon. So
Gresham Station 7-4 has one just like that.
very nice.
We might as well copy that and get one at Station 1.
That's right. So check them out. I got his card for you.
Okay.
The other thing that we have coming up is the Sportsman's Breakfast that's going to be put on by the Quanians and Sandy out at Station 371, and that's going to be on April 20th. That's everything I have for tonight. If you have any other questions, I can try and answer.
So the Sportsman, is it all night again like before?
I think what I heard is just a few hours the morning of.
Yeah.
It would. I apologize. I don't have the exact times off the top of my head, but it's like 7 to 1. 7 to 1. 7 to 1. There you go. So it's just a morning thing. It was
7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. On the 20th.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we'll see how that supports out, and we're looking forward to it.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Any questions or follow-up?
One question, just real quickly. With support water tender driver extraordinaire Phil Schneider, what's your plan with Philly?
As soon as he gets integrated, I mean, we're ready to see him on scene and help him get the water tenders. The STK had a call last night.
Was he on it?
I couldn't tell the voices, but we had 3 water tenders respond to the STK.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Night, so it was a good turnout. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Isn't Stenhouse going through training?
Yeah, both Philly and
Yeah.
Stenhouse.
That's just like 125 years of experience right there.
That is exactly that. Yeah.
That's just their age.
It's back before they invented water.
Wow, that's hard.
Okay, any questions or input on correspondence informational? We had 1 and 1, so it's short. Alrighty. The next Board of Directors meeting will be on Monday, April 15th, 2024 at 5 p.m. The meeting will be hybrid with the public invited to attend either by remote video conference or in person here at Station 5. The regular Board of Directors meeting is now recessed at 5:38 p.m.
Yeah,
Is there something else?
Yeah, just one small thing with that. You and I discussed the next phase for the executive session. Did that need to be asked before or after? Okay, sorry, I apologize.
Well, I suppose probably before we can do it now. Yeah, so in one of the executive session items tonight will be the evaluation of the employment of the fire chief under ORS 192660. So per the chief, you agree we'll have those discussions in the executive session and not
Yes.
public?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect, thank you. So now the regular Board of Directors meeting is now recessed at 5:38 p.m. If you are attending in person, please make your way to the lobby while the executive session is being conducted. The executive session will now, never mind, the executive session will be called to order under ORS 192.660, review and evaluate. And the regular Board of Directors meeting will now reconvene at 8:14 p.m. In the executive session, no decisions or actions were made. So we will now adjourn. The regular Board of Directors meeting is now adjourned at 8:14 p.m. Thank you.